What's happening, everybody? It's Jack here with Suburban Tactical Nation. Today I'm going to share with you a custom knife I picked up from a company called Alien Knives by the designer of Louise DeVoe. Very talented guy. He's got a really sweet blade he's created. So stick around and we'll check this thing out. So some of you may already be familiar with Mr. DeVoe's work on his custom folders and some of his production folders, which most of them have premium materials, and a lot of them are custom made right here in the United States. And they're very interesting and well-designed blades, but he also likes to custom make fixed blades and other items on his shop. You can go check all that out at Alien Gauge Knives. I'll leave links down in the description for you. But this is his maker mark that he usually puts on the blade, that you can see. You can't see on this particular blade because of how he's done the finish on this, but you can see there where it's usually stamped in the steel. So that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and get into the specs on this, and then we'll go into a little more about on why I picked this up and why it's so cool. Blade is coming in at an overall length of 7.32 inches. The blade length is coming in about 3.12 inches. And the thickness is 0.125 inches. And the thickness of the handles with the scales on is coming in a little over 3/8 of an inch thick. So it is a nice slim handle, plenty of room. I can get a full purchase with this. Most of you know I have large hands, so when I get a fixed blade I definitely want a good grip and a good cutting length on it. Now this is a full tang construction, and obviously the scales are removable. You see some extra ones he threw in here for me, and these are actually made out of hemp, so it is a natural product, and they're really nicely made. They are fibrous, so you can see a little bit of that on the scales up close there. There's some right there. But I really like the color scheme he's done with this, and he has some other knives that he's produced that come with these scales, and you can ask to have different ones done, different colors and such. Now these are glow in the dark, as you've seen on some of the stuff I posted online. Maybe I'll shut the lights off here in a little bit once these get charged by the light a little bit, show you a little more about those. But nicely done scales, and he's even got a lanyard bead for those of you that like put lanyards on here. I probably will actually put one on this knife. I'm not really a lanyard person, but I can see where you can get some use out of it, especially for what I'm going to be using this for around the house and outside. So yeah, pretty cool little skull. I like that. That's really neat. So, and a couple stickers that was included, plus his maker's card, which I think is a really cool touch. The blade steel on this is 80 CRV2, which is a high carbon content blade with vanadium, and it's got a really strong structure to this blade, especially with your full tang on this. It's going to get a lot done. It's very similar to 1095 steel, which a lot of fixed blade makers use quite often. It's a good hard steel. It's definitely going to perform along the likes of other blades like your SEs and your tops. You know, good hard strong steel. The handle scales are a black micarta, and these were carved out to my specifications to look more primitive, more like a rock scale pattern, which it turned out really good, especially along the tang of the blade. He kind of matched it up with those scales. Really cool. Also, if I didn't show you earlier, this is his last name signed on there on the bottom of the handle. That is really cool. Just a few screws on each side, and you've got a really nice sharpening choil that he's put on there. Really like that. And you've got a little bit of a guard there for your finger. And with the ergos on this, it works out just fine. Now, since I did kind of ask for a primitive look on this, you can see it's kind of sharp and a little jagged on the edge, so you're going to get, you know, it's not going to be super duper comfortable on that little part right there, but that's just due to the aesthetics of the knife. That can also be fixed up by myself. Also to note that this came with a really sharp edge on this. The grind was done really well. Kudos to you, Mr. DeVoe. Good job on your sharpening. I really like that. Also, it's got that hollow grind. It's just a really good package on this blade. Really digging this thing. Also with the blade, he has done a custom Kydex sheath. It's more of a slip, but you do have tech lock options on there that you can attach. Now I picked the darker rivets for this, but they do come in like a brass or bronze look. And some of his Kydexes are a little different shape than this one, but it fits in just fine. It works. It is one-sided because it is molded to the, the Kydex form. It does work, and if you did want to, this does come in just under 4 ounces, I think 3.80 ounces on the weight. So if you are one of those neck knife guys, this might actually work for you. I'm not a neck knife person, but this thing will slip right down in your pocket with ease. If you want to carry a scout carry, put your little tech lock on there. So nice little slip. I'm probably going to have a custom Kydex made, and maybe purchase a different one of these and go with the straight satin finish on this, and maybe do some different scale options and have a custom fitted sheath for some different ones. But this works just fine if you need to just store it. So that's really cool. So moving along to his card here he gives you with your purchase, which is really cool. Shows the business, his last name, website, Facebook, and Instagram. You can find his information. Now the model is the Tutank, which is what I'm calling it, short for Tutankhamun, as the Great Pharaoh. And you've got your blade, which is the ADCRV2 material, handle black micarta, and then the date of birth of your blade, which is pretty cool. So yep, you get that in there. That's a pretty nice addition. I like to have that type of stuff to hang on to. It's always cool. And you can also purchase his stickers and other swag items that he does have on his shop. I believe he has some shirt options. I'm not sure about hats, but there's also some other things he's dabbled with I think maybe a pry bar I think he's working on right now, and he has a lot of other custom knives coming out, and a few that he has in his shop that have some really nice materials and really cool inspiring blade shapes on them. Definitely go check his website out. So here is a rundown pretty much on my whole collection of my fixed blades, on what I use. Good majority of these are 1095 high carbon steel, aside from the D2 from Off Grid on the back country here. I know, D2, a lot of people love it or hate it, but really on your heat treat, it's so important, and Off Grid really nails the heat treat on their D2. I mean, this stuff is just, you can't beat it for how they do their steel. And the blade shape particularly on this, I really like this blade, but it's just too big to carry around EDC obviously. And this is the shit hits the fan knife. Needs no introduction if you see my unboxing from Monthly Knife Club on this thing. But I love all these knives. I use them all, especially the Moras, but scanny grinds only get you so far as using them every day throughout the day, and sizes are just still a little too bulky, and that's kind of narrowed it down to these three. Now I love the SE and I love the size. All these are 1095. These two are 1095, and this is the ADCRV2. This is going to perform and handle pretty much what these guys can do, only you're getting such a better package on this blade shape. So pretty much down to these two when it comes to my everyday use, or what I'll grab if I'm in a pinch and I just need to take something with me, even into work or wherever I'm heading out to for the day. They're not going to bog you down or be cumbersome in your pocket or in your hand, and still get what you need done. So that's why I love this blade here. It's definitely going to really serve its purpose for what I like to do and what I'm going to need it for. So you've seen it up against some of the fixed blades that I have. You might be asking yourself, okay, well, if it's such a great carry for EDC, how does it stand up against some of the folders? So let's get out some recognizable folders. Start with the PM2 by Spyderco. Definitely much smaller than the PM2. Definitely much thinner in the handles. Blade stock somewhere in the vicinity of the same, but we'll go ahead and add the Para 3 also. Definitely more cutting edge on the Alien knife. little more handle on the Para 3, and definitely more thickness going on, but this still feels better in hand, at least in my opinion. So we'll go ahead and move on to the Ontario R2D2, which is the Rat 2 and D2 steel. Definitely more blade width going on there. Handle length pretty close. This one's pretty close to the size and usage and feel on the hands. This still feels better in hand. And then lastly, we'll get out the bug out, since everybody knows the bug out now. Pretty close in thickness, more handle on the bug out, but this still feels better because of the way the handle is shaped and the way the scales are done. And you're still getting fixed blade durability. So there you have it for some size comparisons. And lastly, you get to see these glow scales. Check that out. They definitely light up. That's definitely one of the coolest things about this knife, I think, that comes with the glows. I really dig that. So there we go, guys. The Tutank by Alien Knives, or the Tutank, however you want to say it. It's definitely a sweet little fixed blade. I recommend you go check this out. If you like fixed blades, go pick you one up over at his website. These are in limited quantity, and this is a custom knife, and I don't think you're gonna really beat it for the price that he's making available on these right now, because as you know, customs that are well made, you know, they can be costly, and this is a damn good knife. I'm gonna get a lot of use out of it. I've already got some use out of it. This thing's just really cool. So if you get a chance, go check them out. And if you have any questions, let me know down there in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you like fixed blades? Are you thinking about doing a EDC fixed blade? This is definitely one that can do it for you. Now, there's lots of other ones out there, no question. But to find one with the artistry that this guy has offered and his style, it's definitely one of a kind. And I think this is really cool. I would really love to see this in a different production, maybe in a different steel, maybe a 154 cm. That would be absolutely insane. Maybe even an S35VN steel. I think the shape is so awesome that definitely pay, you know, a little more for a different steel on it, but this thing's going to do just fine with what it has. I'll leave links down below for sure about ADCR V2, so you can check that out and maybe find some comparisons on what you think might work for you. So there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.